All right, welcome back to Nathan's Car Fix channel, everybody. Today we're going to talk about tie rod ends. I'm going to show you how to check a tie rod end and find out if it's bad or not. Here's a Caravan, 99 Dodge Caravan. I picked up for like 500 bucks. It looks really good now, but when I got it, it was pretty trashed. And I'll give you a quick look on the inside. Got it cleaned up, looking really good. 3.0 engine, AC, full power windows. Downside is the headliner kind of, well, it's seen its better days, so I'm going to have to get a headliner in it. But the good thing is the seats were in good shape once I cleaned her out and everything. So it's going to make a nice van. It's front wheel drive, and I haven't had any issues with it so far. Just some minor things, but good thing is the body was in good shape. I don't like doing body work, so when I buy vehicles, I like to buy them with good bodies. And if the mechanical issues are a problem, then I usually fix them. So today I will show you how to check your tie rod ends, find out if they're bad. A lot of times it's difficult to figure out if it's a tie rod end, a ball joint, or an inner tie rod end. A lot of times you basically got to start from the outside with the wheel and work your way in. And what I like to do, first thing you really should do is get your car, get it jacked up a little bit. And I got my emergency brake on. I don't have any shocks back there today. And once you get it up in the air, what you want to do, now I'm holding my camera, I'm going to try to do this with two hands. It's going to be kind of hard. You want to grab the wheel, and as it's up in the air, like this is, you want to take the wheel and you want to shake it left and right. So I'll set the camera down, and you want to grab it like this, and you're listening for noise. And also, as you're doing this, you want to watch this strut here. Does it turn when you turn this wheel back and forth like this? If it does, then it's more than likely, so far, you're in good shape. Now, the next thing we got to do is go ahead and start taking these lug nuts off and take the wheel off and start looking at some stuff on the inside and see if it is bad. So let me take this wheel off. All right, I got the lug nuts off. Now we got to take the wheel off, and I'm going to have to hit it. This was on there pretty tight the other day. It took me a while to get those lug nuts off. I'll make a video on how to get these lug nuts off when they're seized on there like that. It's a lot of work, but I'm sure some of you people are having trouble getting lug nuts off of cars. All right, I got the rim off, and here is the tie rod end. Now, first thing you want to look at is the boot tore. Is it in good shape? Well, this is in good shape. That's a good sign that it's keeping grease, and it is working like it should. Now, I will take a pair of vice grips, and I will grip this tie rod in, because a lot of times you cannot just grip it by hand, because these things are on there pretty good, and it gets really hard sometimes to shake these with a hand. So get your pair of vice grips, grab that tie rod in and move it around, see if it'll move. And it moves, but it is really hard to move. So that is a good sign. All right, take that off, and I'll take a hammer and I'll go over and I'll kind of tap it. See if you see any movement up and down when you tap on it, or hear any different any changes in the sound. And so far that thing is looking really good. And I'll take a pry bar like this, and I'll kind of get in here, and I'll try not to hit this boot, but the idea is to work it up and down like this. You can see that. See if it moves any. Nothing that way, nothing that way. And one other thing I'll do, which I didn't bring out, I will take a screwdriver. Now, we'll tell you what, we're going to have to go back in the garage real quick, like this quick. We need to get a big screwdriver, and we need to stick it down in that hub. And there we go. I should be a little more prepared when I do these videos, but hey, I'm not a full production company like some of these guys on YouTube are. I'm just a one-man band. All right, I'll take a screwdriver, I'll stick it in the rim like this, and most of the time you may have to put a nut back on here to tighten this down, but this is on there pretty tight, and you want to do this back and forth. See if you see any movement in that tie rod end. I don't see nothing. So that is a good sign. That is basically how you check your tie rod end to see if it's bad. Now, if you did this and you have movement, then more than likely it's probably the inner tie rod end that's bad. And you would check it the same way. You would basically get up here with your vice grips in your hand, and you would move it back and forth, up and down, and you would probably hear the noise. A lot of times when you have a bad tie rod end, you will feel it in your steering wheel. You'll feel it'll be like clunking as you're just driving down the highway. Now, when you hit your brakes, if you feel the steering wheel shaking, more than likely it's your rotor that is warped. But I'll make a video on that somewhere down the road in time and give you guys an idea on that. So good news is tie rod end here is good, and I have nothing to worry about. So that is basically how you check your tie rod end. And like I said, this it's solid. This car runs really good, but a lot of people out there, it's confusing if you don't know a lot about cars. And this is a good way not to get ripped off if you're going to a mechanic, you know, or a shop or anything. And if you're a do-it-yourselfer, at least you can check your tie rod end yourself and find out if it's bad or not before you say, hey, okay, put new tie rod ends on. All right, so that's how you basically check your tie rod ends. There's other videos online on how you can also check your tie rod end in different ways, but this is how I usually do it. I usually go the whole route, but it does require taking your tire off, jacking it up, putting your emergency brake on, putting some shocks behind the wheels so you don't get run over, because you don't want to be on the 6 o'clock news getting run over by your own vehicle. And basically, this is how you work it to figure out if you have a bad tie rod end. So thanks for watching, guys, and be careful and stay cool.